We had an interesting lecture earlier this morning delivered by our cook, and, where she had put her feet on the path to happiness. And it made me think of a conversation. I really didn't know anything about her personal life, but we discovered quite a bit today, didn't we? That her husband had fooled around. And probably that's why they no longer are together. And she thought about the karmic implications of that. Was that happening to her because of she had done something like that in a past life? And that's interesting because, you know, she called it reincarnation. And I've tried to get away from using that term because, and use the term rebirth, because I've talked about it before. There's really a difference between the way the people of India look at rebirth and the way Buddhists look at rebirth. And the people of India, very simply said, without doing a lot of talking about that, look at it as a punishment. And that's the way she was saying she was looking at it. You know, that, well, maybe she did this kind of activity before, so now somebody was doing that to her. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Because this has come up a few times. It's come up because one of the students I have has declared that that had nothing to do with Buddhism, that it came later. I don't think so. You know, another monk is pointing out that the term samsara that we use to talk about the everyday world. You know, we talk about nirvana. Nirvana is a condition. It's not a place, it's a condition. It's a condition of being awake. Samsara is the condition of the everyday world we experience. And it includes our suffering and our unhappiness, but it implies one who returns. And so it's interesting that the Buddha consistently talked about samsara, and this is a very Buddhist notion of talking about these two conditions, one being a condition of being awake and understanding the nature of reality, and the other of struggling with reality, which is basically what it is. And you know, you hear people sometimes complaining, if they believe in an omniscient God, they complain to the omniscient God, why did you let this happen to me? Why must I suffer with this? I've been good. And it's almost as if that the things that happen in our life are all going to respond to our condition of being good or bad. Venerable Hmong said to me earlier today that there are parts of the world that are experiencing floods, very serious floods, and lots of rain. And that's always been true. There's always been floods, and there's always been, he said that there was a prediction there might even be 30 inches of rain. That's an enormous amount of rain. There's no way the earth can soak up that rain, so it has to start causing some damage. Because we live in the desert where the idea of flash floods. Flash floods are not 30 inches of rain, but there are a lot of rain in a short period of time, and the ground cannot absorb all that rain. And so all of a sudden, the water starts moving. And if you look around, just look around the desert you live in, you'll see that there are many gullies created by water. We have one running right over here on this side of the temple property. And you're not going to see any water in it unless it rains. But then a lot of water comes off this mountain. And you don't think about it, but stand under the eaves of your house when it rains and see how much the quantity of water that collects off of that roof. Same thing happens with a mountain. geologist, here we are again. Geologists classify a river as a river by how much water runs down through that river in a year. Not how much water is running at any given moment, but what's happening throughout the year because of things like rain and the water running off the mountainsides and things like that, and the rivers can become a torrent. But, she was talking, she's a wonderful lady. She's taken care of us for a long time, cooking our wonderful Vietnamese food every Sunday. And she's talked about growing within Buddhism, particularly in the last 10 years, and understanding that she doesn't need a reason for the condition, the way things are. She simply has to accept and move on. And I was talking to my sister, who may hear this if this goes up on her YouTube, because when I talked to her, she was a little lonely. She moved all the way to Oklahoma, doesn't really know many people there. Her husband had retired and wanted to go home. And so she just said, well, I just called to tell you what was going on, and I heard about a group of musicians to get together, and I'm going to go check it out and see if I can play with them, which is a good, healthy thing to do. And when she got done, she says, well, whenever I get lonely for you, I just turn on YouTube. I thought, okay, all right. But her husband is involved with a group of people, and she's a Buddhist and he's a Protestant Christian, and he's involved with a group of people in Oklahoma that think the end of the world is coming very shortly. And there have always been people that thought the end of the world was coming just really, really soon. Even in their holy book, it makes it sound like, well, you don't want to start anything that you can't finish because everything's going to be over with before you know it. It really gives that feeling. And so they're sitting around, and she said it's like they expect it to end in 2 or 3 weeks. Well, within Buddhism, we understand that nothing's permanent. And this is basic science. Buddhism is, it's funny because for years I had people telling me, well, Buddhism's not really a religion, it's a philosophy. And I kept hearing that all the time, and once in a while I had to address that. People don't live by philosophies, believe it or not. They really don't. Philosophies don't give you a set of guidelines on how to live a life, particularly a happy life. Some philosophies are pretty negative. They used to say Buddhism was nihilistic because they translated nirvana into the extinguishing of the flame. And they said, well, that means everything ends. Therefore, it's nihilistic. It's, well, it kind of, sort of, means that, but it means the unhappiness ends. Oh, really? Oh. And we say things in a kind of negative manner, so people say, well, it's a negative religion. We say, don't take life, don't steal, don't say things that will hurt other people, don't lie, don't have improper sexual affairs, don't become drunk and ruin your family life. And the no, and the don't, and the don't, and the don't, and so that just has to mean that Buddhism is negative. So Thich Han, very famous master today, who is not doing too much teaching anymore because he went home to his ordination temple and he's had a stroke and he can't really do much of anything, but he rewrote everything and made everybody mad. All the Buddhist monks said, who does he think he is? Does he think he's the Buddha? When does he get to change? Well, he did change a lot of stuff. And I understand them getting a little irritated at him. But what he did was he said, support life. Say only positive things. that support people and make people happy. I don't remember what he did with theft. Don't think. Probably something like honor the things that belong to other people. Things like that. And he tried to make everything into a positive statement. The nice thing about our rules is they're kind of like the 10 Commandments. They're easy to remember. Don't kill. Okay, well okay, that's easy. But then when you write a paragraph on it, then it's, so do you keep the first paragraph, the first precept? Well, what is that? Well, you won't take life that you long or all life and support it throughout the universe and everyday activities, and it just goes on and on and on. And then people go, God, I don't know if I remember all of that. But we know the world's going to end. We know that the sun's going to burn out. We know that the universe, by the way, the universe is not constant. There's nothing in the universe that stays in the same place. Do you know that we're moving through space? I don't mean going around the sun. I mean the sun and all of its planets are moving through space. That everything in the universe is moving away from a central spot. That's how scientists came up with the idea of the Big Bang. They started tracking where things were moving. They said, wait a minute, there are things that are moving back that way. We're going this way. There's stuff going out to the sides. What is going on? Everything's moving away from a common center. Oh, well maybe everything was there at one time. And something went bang, and it started moving out. Of course, nobody heard the Big Bang, you understand that. Yeah, because you have to have air to have sound waves move. But isn't it a great television show, the Big Bang, you know? Yeah. So we use that image of sound. I love Flash Gordon. Remember the spaceship hanging from the strings? You know, with a little thing coming, a little flamey coming out of the back. Going, there's no sound in space. But the idea that, yes, everything's going to end. Now, let's not be so highfalutin and talk about planets and Earth and, you know, the end of all life as we know it. How about just our life? Our life's going to end. And you don't have to wait around praying because you think it's going to happen tomorrow. It'll happen all on its own. We don't have to do anything to hasten it, although some people do. Some people drink too much. Some people eat too much. Some people sit and watch TV too much. Some people drive too fast, and they're just making it happen a little bit faster. But we don't have to. It is going to end. Maybe that's what the guy was talking about when he says, you know, the end of the world is coming. End of whose world? His world. He doesn't have any experience with any other world than his own, does he? This is a constant theme. I bludgeon you with this on a regular basis. Your reality only belongs to you. You think everybody should know your reality, that everybody should accept your reality when you say, oh, the sky is going to fall. But truly, your reality is the way you perceive things. Everybody's reality is the way they perceive things. I have a Facebook account. I don't know whether you know that. If you want to know anything about me, don't go on the Facebook account, because I've only said anything on the Facebook account twice in all the years Facebook has been around. One time somebody said something totally silly, and I went in and said, oh, come on. And then I said, you know what? I don't care what you had. This is what I put on Facebook. I don't care what you had for lunch. I don't care if you're going to take a nap. I don't care about all of these mundane things. I don't care what you're watching on television. So I'm just going to turn this whole thing off. And I started eliminating all my friends because I could not find the button to turn it off. Yeah, you know. So it's like they made a TV set with no off button. Once you turn it on, And I thought, what is this? Talk about somebody having control over what you do. But I got hoodwinked into starting a Facebook account. And, but one of my friends, who's a disabled veteran, been very supportive of me over the years, pushing me really hard right now to try to get some disability. He came on there and he said, he is a great guy. Now, I guess everybody on Facebook's going to assume he's talking about me. It's because I have the, it's Thich An Giao Facebook account, right? Says he's a great guy. He's always happy no matter what. Wow, he made my day with that. That's like a young girl telling me, boy, you were handsome when you were young, weren't you? And you're still handsome. I like it when young women lie to me, and they say things like that. And then I just, oh, well, everything's good. Must be all right, because, and people come up and they go, oh, you look very young. The one I like is, oh, you look very healthy today. I'm not sure whether that's true or not, but I always think it's nice to hear, isn't it?
Their reality.
Life is basically fun if you can get over yourself. It's fun. If you can accept the fact that things happen, it can be fun. It doesn't have to be real involved. Didn't we have a fun breakfast today? For those watching this, we're having a retreat. Yeah, it was so good. And there's so much to enjoy. And I look at these, I call them Eeyores, with, there's Tigger and there's Eeyore and there's, what's the little?
Piglet.
Piglet, but Pooh, yeah. Life according to Pooh. And boy, does he nail, he's got all the little ones in there, and there's Eeyore. Oh, it's gonna be bad. I know it is. Well, yeah, you can get whatever you want out of life.
Yeah.
You can sit down. I have a student, a friend in Washington, has a temple there, and he sent me something. Mung doesn't know about this yet. I'm going to have to hide them. He buys these cherries that are like buying a Cadillac car.
Oh.
They're so expensive. And he sent me last year for the holidays, he sent me a double box of these things. Oh, God. And you remember the chocolate-covered cherries of our youth? Mm-hmm. It's not like that. The chocolate is a harder chocolate. And the cherries, oh, God.
Wow.
He has sweet and sour, and he has almonds inside the chocolate. He has all of this. And I can't afford to buy cherries like that. Yeah. But we're coming up on the season. And I got a box of these cherries.
Nice.
I could sit down and make myself sick with these cherries. They taste so good. That's fun. A couple of mornings ago, I've been telling myself, I need to start playing my violin a little bit more. So I got up in the morning, and my morning is consumed with taking pills and doing breathing treatments. Isn't that fun? So I got my fiddle out, and I played for about 40 minutes, some fiddle tunes, and I could still do it, because of the pandemic. I used to play every week with a bunch of old guys, until I got a friend of mine to join. I was the youngest there. Imagine that. And then I got this 40-something old, and he came in. Oh yeah, he's got little kids and all this stuff. School teacher. So he joined us. Then I'm no longer the young guy. But it's fun. If you want it to be. If you want to be miserable, it's a choice. The Buddha said that very clearly, it's a choice. If you want to worry about the end of the world, you can do that. You can go sit under a tree and be miserable all day long, thinking any moment it's going to happen. You know you're going to die. It's only a question of when. It's not a question of if. I can't believe how weak I am now. Mom comes over and starts doing things for me because he knows I can't do them. You know, and you want slap in the face. Boom, get out of the way, old man. Let me do that for you. You know?
Just a terrible.
Yeah. But, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the doctor and I say, boy, my knees are killing me. Is there a problem or is it old age? I always say that to the doctor. Is this a problem or is it old age? And he took some x-rays and he says, I didn't see anything. And a few years later I went to the doctor and I says, boy, my knees are killing me. I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't sleep, they hurt so bad. Is it old age? See, because if it's old age, I'm not even going to think about it. Right? What's the point? There is no point in thinking about something you can't change.
Yeah.
This shoulder over here. You know how you play a violin? You ever see somebody playing a violin?
Oh, yeah.
See how my arm is here? Okay? I'd go to play a violin, I'd play a tune, and I'd have to take a break for the next tune. It hurt so bad over here. I went to the doctor, VA doctor. I said, okay, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know whether my arm's getting ready to just fall off. You know, is it in the process of withering and dying? Tell me what's going on here. Because I can't hold it up very long. I have a banjo that has a neck that's way up here. I have to play it down here. I can't get up here. Because see where the heart is?
Yeah.
This is above. I thought maybe I'm not getting enough oxygen. Maybe it's not making it up to the arm. The doctor sent me to the guy to get an x-ray. I went back to the doctor. He says, it's simple. You have arthritis in your shoulder. Oh, it's old age. Oh, okay. Now I know what it is. I'm not going to worry about it because I can't do anything about it. Right? Can't do anything about arthritis. Arthritis is a gift of the age fairy. Here you go. Now have fun with it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So these things, the basic problem we have is, first thing is, we have to learn how to have fun. And if you don't know how to have fun, go watch children that play. And you can watch any children. I'm thinking to myself, well, I should say small children. No, that's not true at all. You know, with the horrible things we have going on now that we find out about small children, there was a monk, a Chinese master years ago, that told his students, when you get too serious about this whole thing we call life, go play with children. Well, today that would mean something different. But back then he meant simply, go sit on the ground and make little things out of mud, like I did when I was a kid, you know. Get sticks and float them in a tree bowl that's full of water and pretend it's a ship. Capture the mind of a child. The child hasn't been around long enough to get that serious about anything. Now he's serious about being hungry. We got that. And he's serious about you don't give him enough attention, enough kisses. We got that. And he's serious if he's a small child that maybe it's time to change that diaper. But he's not serious about the end of the world because children will live forever. Young people. Go watch a bunch of people play soccer at a high school. Stop worrying about this, that, these other things. Go out and see these young people as they experience life. One of my earliest memories that keeps coming back to me is laying on the lawn, on the grass, in front of my dad's house in Dallas. And I'll tell you why I remember this so vividly. We don't have chiggers in California, but it seems like the entire rest of the world has chiggers. And they are these things that bite you that you cannot really see. I mean, they're just almost subatomic particles. And I was laying out there in a pair of shorts like I would do in Long Beach, California, on this grass, And when I went inside, all of a sudden, I had little red dots all over me where the chiggers had bit me. But for that brief time I was laying there looking at the grass. And then I took my finger and I kind of moved the grass a little bit. And I was looking down below the grass. I don't know how long I was there. I was experiencing the world as it is. I had no opinion at all. You know, but I remember as a child being able to lay on my back and look up at the bottom of a tree. Do you remember that? Has everybody done that?
I've done that recently.
Yeah.
It is so cool.
And do you remember that the one thing you did not do is have an opinion about that tree? That you simply laid there and saw the play of shadow and sun through that tree? And were you happy? Absolutely you were happy. But we get too sophisticated. We worry about things we can't change. My sister said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm just like I was last week and the week before and the week before that." "Well, you know," I said, "Lauren, there's not much I can do about my health condition." I said, "If it could be done, it would have been done. They tried and it didn't work. So now I'm left with you can accept it or you can complain a lot." You know, I have to tell you, I still get frustrated because I walk around inside the house and I'm tripping on oxygen lines all the time. And I get a little frustrated sometimes, maybe the third or fourth time within 5 minutes that I trip on it. But I'm not unhappy with life because the doctor said, "Okay, from now on I want you on oxygen all the time." Well, tell me how I can change any of that. Now maybe if I live long enough, somebody will come up with a magic. You know, maybe it's a magic that they go, Shazam. Maybe it's a magic that they give me a pill. Maybe it's a magic they say, "Well, you know, we've found out that if we go in there and we fill your lungs with helium and we empty your lungs just before you die, it'll make things better." I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it one way or another. I'm learning to accept what is. And ultimately, it's what is pretty good. It really is pretty good. And the Buddha said that. He said, don't think about the past. Don't worry about the future. Just be in the now. And the practice of Zen, this is what Americans have right about Zen. And this is what they have right about Vipassana, or mindfulness training and everything, is that the secret is to be here, in the now. To have a wonderful breakfast like we had, or, you know, for Hmong, it's whenever we go anywhere, if we can have French fries on the way there, it's good. If we can have French fries on the way back, it's even better. You know, with a Coke.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had French fries without a Coke? I don't think so. Okay? And everything's good. And life is basically good. But we take ourselves way too seriously. You know, there's a group of people that think what happens when they die really matters. Does it matter to anybody but them? Now you lose somebody, you know, I've become accustomed to crying. I don't have any, well, I've got brothers and a sister, but everybody older than my brothers and sister, they're gone. All the good friends I had early in my adult life, they're gone. You know, so yeah, there's people to remember. That's okay. But other than that, are you going to change, is your death going to change what happens in the world? No. Is anybody's death going to change what happens in the world? No. My first hero in life, Gandhi, was assassinated. People don't talk about that very much. But you know, in India, they have a path. They have the path that he walked to where he was assassinated. They venerate him as a demagogue. And I got to tell you, for someone that lived on this earth, he's about as close as you can get to being a demagogue with all the good and the kindness and the care that he gave to the world and the nonviolence. You know, we wouldn't have had Martin Luther King if it wasn't for Gandhi, because that's who we learned from. Don't ever hit back. And every day was good for Gandhi. Every day was good. Even when days were bad, they were good. The great Master Dogen said, today is the only day you have. When it's raining, it's the best day you could have. When it's snowing, it's the best day you could have. When it's so hot that you can't find any place to cool off, it's the best day you could have. So what's the complaint about? Wouldn't it be neat if we, when it got to 110 out here, if we could just go, okay, wait a minute, stop. Okay, 72 degrees, I'll take that for today. But it doesn't work. It would be nice if you could do some magic formula. I mean, the drugstores are full of magic formulas. When I go to bed at night, you know, my arthritis that keeps me up is right here. Right here, both thumbs. Oh, God. It always hurts. But when I'm sleeping, if I just put my hand out or something. So every night I have icy hot. And I put some icy hot on there. And it kind of banks up the fire. It doesn't go away, it just kind of banks it up a little bit so it's not so bad. And I sleep and it's good. We have to stop taking ourselves so seriously. It's okay to enjoy life. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to have fun. And if we forget that, just go watch the children play. That was for Mom. I don't know if I did what he wanted me to do, but gotta get a lighter spreader.